First up, for more than 4 decades, Colombia has lived through devastating clashes between leftist insurgents, right-wing paramilitaries, and the government's forces. The conflicts have forced millions of people off their land, making Colombia second only to Sudan in internally displaced citizens. Although significant advancements have been made in the past decade, total peace has not been reached. There are still rural areas where opposition groups are in constant battle with government forces. For decades, Colombia's Cauca province has been the epicenter of the conflict. It's a region considered the heartland of the leftist rebel group known as the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, or FARC. It has also been used as a drug trafficking corridor for the FARC and other armed groups. For civilians in the Cauca province, this has meant constant violence. During a recent visit to the region, America's Now correspondent Michelle Begue found that local people are determined to put an end to the violent clashes once and for all.
These images have made headlines. An angry throng of protesters carries off a Colombian soldier assigned to stand guard at the military base in Toribio. The soldier's name is Sergeant Rodrigo Garcia. The protesters are the indigenous people of the Cauca province. The conflict? The natives have said no more to military presence in their towns and on their sacred hill. The soldier cries as the people he is sworn to protect reject him. It's not the first time the people of Toribio have said no to military presence. In 2004, they removed a military trench that was located on this street corner. The incident on July 17, 2012 in the Cauca province caused a national uproar and brought to the forefront a battle that has divided this country for decades. The indigenous leaders in the region, like Feliciano Valencia, who want their peaceful existence back, have repeatedly called for the military and guerrillas in the region to leave their territory.
We have to take control of the territory because definitely the guerrilla groups and armed forces are tainted by weapons and they don't understand the demands of the indigenous people.
Valencia meets with those responsible for storming the military base, as well as various indigenous communities from the Cauca province. Most of those present are unrepentant for their actions.
That soldier doesn't understand, nor do the generals, nor does the government understand, that when the people decide to rise with dignity to defend their territory, we are capable of those actions taken in Toribio.
The indigenous people have long seen their terrain terrorized over the years by guerrillas who they believe will stop at nothing to control their land to profit from its important drug trade routes. For many, however, the military presence only serves to bring on more attacks from heavily armed rebels. The solution, they say, is to have their land protected by the nonviolent indigenous guard, who arm themselves only with staffs.
One sector of Colombian society says they are indignant because of the soldier's tears. He cried because he finally understood that he's wasting his time with his weapons in this territory. He cried because civilians, without weapons, demanded that they leave the territory because we are capable of controlling the land.
Although there have been talks between the government and the indigenous leaders throughout the weeks, there has been no clear resolution. Both sides don't seem to budge on their demands. Colombian President Juan Manuel Santos supports the dialogue, but sustains the same position.
Nosotros no podemos ceder un centímetro de nuestro territorio.
We cannot give up 1 centimeter of our territory. The armed forces in the territory is not negotiable. Any dialogue cannot go on with that issue on the table because it is not negotiable.
Pretender que ese tema esté sobre la mesa, porque ese tema no